Hey Fae folk, welcome back to another Dolls I Don't Want video. If you have not seen one of these from me before, it's just a series that I do where I talk about dolls that have either come out recently or dolls that are going to be coming out in the future that we have stock photos for, and I discuss all the ones that I don't plan to buy and why that is. Sometimes it is because I think a doll is butt ugly. Sometimes it's like it's pretty, but it's just not for me. Sometimes the price is a factor. We just talk about it here because even if I'm not planning on buying dolls, Lord knows I have plenty of opinions on them and I like to share them with you all. Now, sometimes I do like the inverse video of this, the dolls I do want, where I talk again about recent releases or upcoming releases that I do want to get. However, once again, we don't have enough enough dolls on that list for me to really talk about. It hasn't been that long since my last dolls I don't want video, but like there have just been so many releases, so I have enough to talk about. But for the dolls I do want, there are fewer dolls to begin with, just because, hi, if you're new here, I'm a little bit picky. But also, just because of like the timing of things, a lot of the dolls that could have been included in a dolls I do want video, I've already purchased and like fully made reviews on. And so it just sort of seems like, what's the point? So we're not going to be doing one of those. We're just going to have this little sort of like anti-haul dolls I don't want video. Now, of course, if all the dolls in this video are like your favorite dolls that you've purchased and you're like excited to purchase and you love all of them, that's fine. They're just little plastic people. It's not a really big deal if we disagree about our opinions, but do just please be kind about that if you'd like to express it in the comments down below. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on in. So the first brand that we're going to be talking about today is Monster High, and we're kicking things off with the Us Skelector Pack. If you've heard me talk about Skelectors before, you probably know that I haven't seen the movie because I cannot watch scary movies. They're just, my brain doesn't handle them. I'm so sorry. Otherwise, like I've heard a little bit about the premise and it sounds interesting. I just can't watch it. And so that is a big reason why I don't want these dolls. I also just think that like the base dolls are genuinely pretty, and I'm very glad that these exist because the Skelector lineup definitely was lacking in diversity, I would say. All of their like more humanoid characters have been quite pale, and so it's nice to get to see some diversity there. Like I love that that's happening, and I do think the faces look good. I think the hairstyles are really pretty. But the reason that I didn't buy them, despite not having seen the film, because I have done that, Aliens Collector, it's just because I think the clothes look honestly just really bad. Like the red jumpsuit is not as terrible, but I think the other outfit is I don't even know if you can see my face right now because Miss Weiss is here, but I just think the clothes look extremely cheap. And so because of that, I was like, I'm not going to spend this amount of money just to get two nice base dolls, you know? So power to everyone who likes these. I can totally understand, like, if you're a fan of the movie, like, I'm sure that this is a lot more worth it for you. But for me, not being a fan and not liking the outfits, I just could not justify buying these. Next up, another collector Monster High doll, the House of Wolf Claudine Wolf doll. I did do an entire dedicated video to her, so I'm going to be a little bit more brief with my opinions here. But basically, I do think that she's a perfectly pretty doll. Like, I don't by any means think that this is an ugly doll, but she was sort of presented to us as, oh, this is going to be like Vampire Heart Draculaura levels of doll, except Claudine. And while I do think this is really nice, especially when you include the box, which was, if you haven't seen it, basically just like shoddily printed cardboard and plain plastic, and that's it. Like, no real details whatsoever. She was just one where, like, if this doll had been like $50, I might have considered it, but she was like around $100, and I just like, she is pretty. I think this coat is incredible. You know, I think that her little boot pants are kind of fun, but I just could not justify the price. So did not end up getting her. Okay, this next one I think is frankly just funny. So this is the Monster High and Barbie collab where they did a Gen 1 style Frankie wearing like outfits inspired by the original Barbie or like some of the original Barbies. And no, not for me. If you guys have been to the channel before, you know that I am not a fan of Frankie and Gen 1, and I'm also not a fan of the original Barbie. So these are two things that I already don't like going into a collab that I also don't like. Like, this was never gonna be for me. I do just find it like a little bit hilarious that it is specifically two things that I don't care about collabing together to make like one mega thing that I don't care. And then lastly, for Monster High, we have like a last minute playline inclusion. I did specify in the intro, and I have said this before, stock photos are very important for me to use just because I'm super paranoid about copyright claims, and so I will not use any like leaked photos. This is technically speaking a stock photo. It is an inbox stock photo, but it's technically a stock photo. And I just want to talk about this. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and do it because it's not gonna get my account in trouble, so it's fine. So this is our first look at the Gen 3 Rebecca Steam. And I have to be honest, I'm a little bit disappointed. She is in the dolls I don't want video on sort of a technicality because I do want to get her, but I don't think she's going to be a doll that I purchase at full price. Normally, I would still include that in a dolls I don't want video with the caveat that I want to wait for a sale, but since I'm not making one of those, whatever. I'm bending the rules a little bit. I think that she is a pretty doll, but I don't think that she holds up to the standard of like the more recent signature releases that we've had. Like the three newest signature dolls, if you count Skelita, because I mean we have stock photos of her, so I'm gonna count her. We have Skelita and then Nephra and Jennifer. I think those are the three most recent like new signature dolls that we've gotten, and those have all been such standout dolls. Like they've just been so detailed and so nice. And this is, again, pretty, but it just doesn't feel like it has that same amount of detail. I do really like the colors they've used for Rebecca's hair blend here. I think that that is a pretty face framing way to do it. And having that like lighter blue, I think is a really, really nice inclusion for her. I don't mind the overall lighter color scheme, at least in theory. I think that it doesn't look great here because of something else that I'm going to get to in a second. I'm so sorry. um, but because it's so light, it does kind of give Ever After High again with that extra factor that we're getting to. Outside of that, like if this were styled differently, I don't think that the lighter color scheme would bother me, but that I just think is a little bit frustrating. The cage skirt being completely unprinted or unpainted, I think just looks really, really bad. It's something about if something is done in a sort of metallic color versus this like very bright blue, I think can make it look different. Like a pure copper metallic cage skirt, say. Even though that would also be unpainted, I think it would just look a little bit less unfinished because your brain goes, "Oh, that's a metallic, it's metal, it's copper." Of course, it's all one color because it's all copper. Whereas when it's just this blue, it really does scream plastic. I think that's what's happening to me. So that's bothering me. If I get mine on sale or when I get mine on sale, that will definitely have to be getting some painted detail because that is like the most glaring thing that's bothering me. Then we move down to her boots, and I don't mind the boots except for the fact that every other accessory that she has is in gold and that her boots are in copper. And it's just like why just randomly do the boots in copper if literally everything else is going to be gold? And that all brings me to my biggest complaint about her. The more I talk about her, the more I'm like, wow, girl, you have a lot of things that you don't like about this doll. I want a G3 Rebecca Steam, so that's why I'm like, I'm still probably going to get her on sale and just like heavily alter her. But the biggest thing that's bothering me is that she doesn't read as steampunk anymore to me. I think the gold instead of the copper, you absolutely can do steampunk designs in any sort of color, but there's just something about copper that I think immediately screams more steampunk to me, possibly because it's definitely less used than silver or gold, so it like stands out a little bit more and it does feel a little bit more connected to that specific style. So that's bothersome. But like I said, you could get away with the gold. I did misspeak slightly earlier. Sorry. She does have one other bronze accessory, and that is her glasses. But they look like glasses. They don't look like goggles. That to me is just like so quintessentially steampunk to do something different with the eyewear for them to either be very very strange glasses, which to be fair they might be. They're not packaged on the doll though, and I think that's not helping her. Like I think if you're going to do super weird glasses to make it feel more steampunk, it needs to be having the glasses on the doll in the packaging so you can get a better idea of her vibe, because from this image it doesn't look like they're a little weird, but I don't know. It's not working for me with the way it's packaged. But I would prefer goggles or even like a monocle. Like these are things that feel more steampunk to me. Whereas the glasses, they might look so much better on the doll. Like they might read so much more steampunk on the doll. But in the package, they're certainly not working for me. And she just really seems to have a lack of anything that feels distinctly steampunk. You know, outside of her, I guess a little bit the boots, And then like the bag is the like clock with the gears and everything. But going back to that cage skirt, like a cage skirt can feel very steampunk, but because it's not printed, any of the detail that might be sculpted in there that makes it feel more steampunk, anything that makes it clear that this is like gears instead of filigree, you just can't see it. And because it's that bright blue again, it looks so plasticky. It doesn't look like metal. It doesn't look like steampunk. Like she just looks like an extremely watered down version of her Gen 1 vibe. And her Gen 1 doll was also realistically steampunk light. You know what I'm saying? That was like casual steampunk, not like full throttle steampunk. So when you lighten it up even further, that's why I'm like, I think it's giving a little bit of fairy tale vibes, a little bit of Ever After High vibes. Because the color, the lack of like clear steampunk aesthetic, it's I'm so disappointed with this one. I can't lie. Like I said, I still think I'm going to end up getting her so that I can like customize her a bit into a more steampunky Rebecca because I think Rebecca is just such an interesting character. And I hope her doll at least does well enough for her to get to continue to have releases in the future because like I do see the potential here. Like I said, I think the base doll is nice. You know, she still has little like rivets and stuff on her skin, which is great that they still included that. And then the color of her hair, I think, is really, really pretty. Her face is nice. Like the bones are there. I just think that this outfit is not on theme enough for Rebecca. So I do want her to do well enough for them to make her in the future. But there's no way I can buy this doll on sale. Like I just can't. I just cannot justify that. That brings us to Bratz. The only dolls of which I need to talk about for today's video are the Hello Kitty collab dolls. I just posted a whole like dedicated video ranting a little bit about my thoughts. So we're not going to do that today. We're going to go pretty rapid fire on this one just so I like maintain my calm because I did get a little heated in that video. I'll link it up above so you can see it if you haven't yet. Looking at Yasmin first, I think that she's my favorite of the initial three that were included, but I still just don't think that she's super duper exciting is I guess the best way to put it. The baggy jeans are kind of fun, but I don't know. She's just sort of there. Jade, same situation. She's got some 3D elements to her sweater, which is nice, but she doesn't really stand out. And then Chloe, personally, I find the least compelling. She has an unpainted bag along with the unpainted shoes, and I don't know. Her style is like not a style that I necessarily gravitate towards, and she also, because of all of the unpainted details, just feels a little unfinished to me. And then Sasha, I actually do really, really love. However, she's on a pre-order, and it's like a closed pre-order. Like there's a very limited window of time to get her, and I simply just don't have the money right now. We're going to talk about this a little bit more as we continue on through this video, but there have just been like an absolutely relentless onslaught of releases. It has been so overwhelming lately. Like the last couple of months has just been like release after release after release. And it's too much. I only have so much doll budget. You know, I gotta prioritize some things over others. And I've already spent my doll budget for this month. So Sasha's not on the table for me to buy right now. And even if she was, I would be pissed because it's like a $35 doll and then like $10, $20 shipping and you don't get free shipping because she's only available on Bratz.com. So I'd be paying like $50+ for this doll, or like 50-ish. I just can't do that. So if she ever comes to stores, these dolls aren't supposed to actually be produced and ship out until like summer of next year. I forgot if it was June or like July, but somewhere in there. If they come out in stores at that point, I'll buy her in stores. But since we don't have any confirmation of that happening as of right now, unfortunately, she has to be in this video. Not actually because I don't want her, so the title ends up kind of being a misnomer, but simply because I can't afford her. That brings us all to the real meat and potatoes of this video, the one that I have the most dolls to talk about, and that is Barbie. There have been so many Barbie releases. Like there have been a lot of releases point blank period, as I keep saying, and as I'm probably going to say 1,002 more times. But Barbie especially has just been like one after the other, after the other, after the other. They're not messing around. I have no idea. Like I am desperate to understand what is going on with Mattel's release calendar because I do fully understand that it's natural that there are a few more releases leading up to the holidays because that's like the biggest buying month here in America or buying months here in America. Like companies make most of their money around the holiday season. So like I get that, but this level of drops and especially at the prices that they're asking, like it's unsustainable. People cannot buy all of these dolls. Anyway, the first one is they did like an advent calendar for Halloween. They almost got me. I can't lie. This is like the first time I've ever even considered a Barbie with this like more vintagey face sculpt because typically speaking, I just don't like it. I do think that the face actually looks good on this one. I like her little witch outfit. She does come with like a cat suit that I'm a little bit less fond of. I don't like the hair. And I didn't need anything that she came with in the advent calendar outside of maybe the other outfit, but there's like a lot of just accessories that I know I'm kind of ambivalent about. And she was $160. And I just that was too much. That was too much. This one does still sort of sting. I think at this point in time this doll is no longer available, but I could be wrong. I'm really, really bad about paying attention to like the release times for dolls that I'm not planning on getting. I'm so sorry. But this is a Mattel collab with the Museum of Modern Art, and they did a Barbie doll that is inspired by Vincent van Gogh's Starry Night. And I really like wanted to be able to get this one, y'all. Like I she is very pretty. There are a couple of things that I'm struggling with. The first of which is just that like black thing on her arm. I know it's supposed to be like the mountains in the Starry Night painting. Like I know what they're going for, but it looks weird. It looks out of place to me. Like it doesn't feel like it flows with the rest of the design. I also am just not a fan of when they do like the mitten glove. I don't like that. It's bulky and it's awkward, and she's wearing a gown and a mitten. Like it doesn't look good to me. The other thing is, if you have seen like some of my content before, you might know I cannot handle like dolls that have gel in their hair. Very, very few dolls in my collection have any gel in their hair. And like I feel like I'm kind of notorious for, oh yeah, I'm gonna take this hairstyle out and I'm washing this doll. Like I wash again like 99% of the dolls that come into my collection because I just physically it's a sensory thing. Like I cannot handle the way that the hair feels. And if you notice, the hair is beautifully sculpted on this doll to be a part of the entire piece. And as an art piece, I think that is a gorgeous inclusion. I think it's very clever. I think it's very fun and different, and it looks really pretty. But there's a couple concerns. One, I'm skeptical that these are going to come out this good in the box. I'm very interested to see people's reviews on these because like that it could be incredible. Obviously the stock photo looks good because they're like going to try to make sure it looks good to sell it to you. But I fear that in the box these could ship and look really rough. And then on a personal level, I just know that I would have this doll and she would have to retain all of this insane amount of gel in her hair. And I have a couple of dolls like that. Like I have a couple of dolls that have gel in their hair, but it's just a little bit iffy. All that being said, I still would have bought her and like just, sucked up the fact that her hair is going to be an absolute rock and removed that black glove if she were cheaper, but she's also $160. And like I don't like it. Okay, let me just be super duper clear with that. I do get it because Mattel will routinely charge $100 for just their Barbie. So if they're collabing, I'm not necessarily surprised, but I do think the price is just way too high for me to afford. Again, specifically at this moment. Like if this had come in a month when I hadn't bought any other dolls, I might have been more tempted to go ahead and like buy her and, at least give her a shot. I just can't do it. Like it's literally nonstop. So it is a little expensive for me, point blank period, but especially within the time frame, this was just it wasn't doable. It wasn't doable for me. Okay. This one hurts the most. For sure. For sure, for sure. I do have two more dolls to talk about after this one, and thankfully those are both dolls that I actually just don't think are cute. So it'll be a little more fun and we can round out the video on a high note. But this one really does hurt. I can't lie. So for Dia de los Muertos, Barbie came out with a La Llorona Barbie, and I wasn't able to get her because she was expensive. She was expensive. The problem was she released the same week as the Xenomorph Monster High doll. So it was literally like honestly, I think it was 2 days. I don't even think it was like a Monday to Friday, which is still insane. But I think it was like a Wednesday to a Friday or something like that. I don't know. It was very, very close together. And I literally had to look at the two and go, which one do I want more? Because I could not reasonably afford both. And so I had to do that, and it really sucks. I do stand firm in my decision. Just in general, I am definitely a bigger Monster High character, or I am a bigger Monster High fan. There we go. Let's use the right words. Than I am a Barbie fan. And while I think this is an unreal doll, like I cannot believe that this doll is real. The fact that she has like a proper ball gown that is actually, it looks full and nice, and it's like a nice round shape on top, the layers, the lace, the blue tinge to her hands, the painting, like she's exquisite. If I had unlimited money, this doll would have come home with me, zero questions asked. Like I love her. I would have loved to have been able to get her. But again, I'm a bigger Monster High fan, and even though I haven't seen Alien, again, horror movies not my thing. That was just such a insanely unique doll to me. Not to say that this one isn't. Please don't take that away, because she is. She's very unique, very gorgeous. Again, I want her so, but I just think that the alien, the xenomorph doll, it was just a little bit more unique and just a little bit more for me by a hair. And so that's what I ended up prioritizing. And I even posted on Instagram and I was like, guys, if I can't get the xenomorph doll and this Barbie is still in stock, I'm going to buy her instead. But she sold out before the xenomorph even released. So this one hurts. This one hurts. I desperately would have loved to have her in my collection, but the timing was just unreal. But now I can be a little bit of a hater, not that we got that out of the way. So the first doll that I just like flat out don't really like is the Barbie fan vote doll, where like the votes occurred in 2024 and then the doll came out now. And she's a Barbie Brooklyn doll, which I don't have a problem with that at all. I actually think that the base doll is pretty decent. I'm not 100% sold on the color of lipstick, but I like the hair and I actually like her accessories a lot too. And then I guess the vote was like a boho style was what won the vote. I just think this dress is raw. I do think the boots look kind of cool. And even the bottom half of the dress I think is a little bit better. The top half, like something about the silhouette of it, because it's like ruffles around these cold shoulders, but it sort of looks like she has a Peter Pan collar because of that. And so it's giving a little bit preppy, or like on top, almost corporate, almost, not quite, but almost corporate to me instead of boho. Like it's just for me, it's not really giving that. But my biggest issue is actually the fabric choice. This just looks so unbelievably cheap. And like papery is not the right descriptor, because this is definitely isn't like the paper material that Mattel sometimes uses, because that's not like this sheer sort of quality. I don't know how to explain it, but I can feel this fabric and it doesn't feel good. I have felt this fabric before and it's not paper again. It's not like that papery fabric, but it is pretty shitty. At least it looks like that's the fabric that they used. I don't have her in hand, so I can't confirm for sure, but it looks really just low quality. And I think even visually, like it just doesn't look right. I think it's bad when somehow her plastic boots look more luxe than her dress. I guess we'll leave it at that, because I really would like to direct most of my vitriol to this last doll for today. Um, Obviously, still, you're perfectly welcome to like love her in the comments. That's totally fine. I'm gonna be kind of mean about this one. Just I don't know. I I just look at her and she fills me with a little bit of rage. So don't take it too seriously. It's like funny, okay? It's like a funny sort of rage. But this is the fourth Style to Buy design Barbie, and I just think this is like the biggest box of nothing they possibly could have served up. I'm so sorry. I have seen this doll from Barbie at least 10 times before. There is just nothing to me about her that is unique. I feel so mean. I feel so mean. But I'm serious. Like a nude mermaid dress with like some applique detail. I've seen that before. Poofy sleeves, like it's all black. The little like cape situation. I normally love a cape situation. I've seen this before. Like there's nothing about this that is exciting to me at all. Like none of it is interesting to me. I have no idea. I also think it's insane that they didn't like get a better match for the dress, because it looks like it's trying to be a nude dress. And this is not the doll's nude. Like, obviously, everyone has like a different shade of nude that actually fits their skin tone. This is not the doll's nude. And it's off enough to where it does feel distracting, but it's not off enough to feel intentional. You know, if someone who has a very deep complexion wears a dress that is the color of my skin, that's going to look on purpose, right? It's going to be like, oh, very clearly they were not trying to match their skin tone. This looks like she was trying to match her skin tone with this sort of like nude color and just completely failed. So that bothers me. And then I despise this hair. I've said this before on the channel. I'm sorry if you love this. I just think that this like super crisp, like slicked back, perfectly clean bun, I don't think it looks good. So this is literally just a hodgepodge of things that I think are outright ugly, poorly designed, or look like a thousand things I've seen before. Like I said, I feel like I've seen this dress from Barbie at least 10 times, but I've also seen this outfit so many times, period. Like, it's just genuinely a little bit crazy to me. Like, I'm so mean. I'm such a hater. I just think when you look at the other Styled by Design dolls, they are not all my cup of tea. I only own one of them, but they do show such a distinct and interesting point of view. They're all very unique and lively, even if they're not out and out like bright colors. They at least look like they have life to them, and this just looks, it just looks like nothing. It doesn't look like anything. So I'm not gonna go buy her. Clearly, I kind of very much dislike her. But again, it was just, I'm trying to be a little silly goofy, amping it up a little bit. Like, it's just for fun, just for kicks. Don't be offended if you like her. If you like her, get her. Enjoy yourself. It's all good. But those are all of my opinions that I wanted to share with you today. Thank you for indulging me. I love doing these, and it's especially fun to me when I can like be a little bit sassy. I don't know. It's kind of funny. But I would love to hear all of your thoughts down below about the dolls that I discussed, and also just like about the state of the release schedule. I know y'all have to be pissed off too, but I've ranted and I want to hear you rant. So feel free to drop that in the comments down below. But that's going to be all for me and Miss Weiss. It's been a while since she's joined us in a video. Like, I'm so happy she's back down here and hanging out. But yeah, that's it for today, guys. I do hope you're able to enjoy. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day or your night or whatever it might be, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye, guys.